The cool story of cold rice, why the Japanese love what the Vietnamese shun. If you ask a Vietnamese person whether they like eating cold rice, leftover or previously cooked rice that has cooled down, the vast majority will surely shake their heads. Yet cold rice was once genuinely linked to the childhood of many people in Vietnam. Coming home from school starving, quickly grabbing a bowl of cold rice, rushing through a meal with cold rice, that's what you did before moving on to other things. For Vietnamese people, cold rice is often associated with a feeling of makeshift meals, having run out of options, or only using it to fry so it doesn't go to waste. We are used to eating piping hot, steaming rice accompanied by meat, eggs, and a bowl of soup to truly feel satisfied. However, in Japan, cold rice is not looked down upon at all. In fact, cold rice has become the centerpiece of an entire culinary culture, featuring famous dishes like sushi, onigiri, and bento. This might sound paradoxical, but if we look deeper into the history of Japan, its geography, culture, and the characteristics of the rice grain itself, we will see that everything has a very natural reason. The history of bento and cold rice in Japan. In the history of Japan, just like other East Asian countries, rice has always been highly valued. From the Heian period, around the 8th to the 12th century, the Japanese were already making dried rice to carry with them on long journeys. By the Edo period, 17th to 19th century, bento, the takeout lunchbox, was a very familiar part of daily life. It's no accident that bento has survived and even diversified from the Edo period right up to modern society. Bento has even become a form of art. And bento is also the key reason why the Japanese are accustomed to cold rice and even find it delicious when they eat it. In the feudal era, women in the family typically had to wake up early. They would start the wood-burning stove and cook rice from small white round grains. As soon as the rice was perfectly cooked, they would quickly divide it into wooden boxes. These boxes were often made from cypress wood, which is light, fragrant, and keeps the rice from getting damp or moldy. Beside the rice, there were usually a few savory side dishes, such as a piece of lightly grilled dried fish, a few slices of pickled daikon, or sometimes rolled omelet. They would close the lid. And just like that, a family member had a packed lunch to take with them when needed. In Edo, which is modern-day Tokyo, the sight of people carrying these bento boxes was ubiquitous. In the past, samurais in light armor on patrol would stop to open such a rice box under a tree to rest. Merchants who traveled all day would stop by the roadside to quickly eat lunch from their packed rice box. Farmers would gather in the fields, sharing pieces of cold rice while chatting. Thus, from the upper to the lower classes, everyone was attached to bento, and thanks to this, cold rice became an accepted fact in society. The philosophy behind the bento box. What's special is that bento is not just food, it also embodies the Japanese mindset. It is neat, convenient, and perfectly suits a people who value orderliness. Inside a small box, everything is meticulously arranged. Rice in one corner, fish in another, vegetables in one spot, and egg in another. Everything fits just right, nothing extra and nothing lacking. Looking at a bento box is like looking at a mini garden with balance and harmony. Such a bento box also demonstrates frugality. Rice cooked in the morning, allowed to cool and eaten for lunch and maybe dinner, nothing is wasted. Since ancient times, the Japanese have considered wasting a grain of rice a sin, based on their belief that 7 gods reside in a single grain of rice. Therefore, cold rice is utilized to the maximum and eaten with great respect. Bento has been elevated by the Japanese beyond mere sustenance into an art form. During the Edo period, when people went to see a play, they often brought elaborate bento boxes, which were tiny multi-tiered containers with every color imaginable, eating while enjoying the performance. During the cherry blossom season, the Japanese would gather to view the flowers and bring bento along. These were beautifully arranged rice boxes containing eggs, fish, vegetables, and sometimes even fancy sweets, which they enjoyed while appreciating the beauty of nature. There are even special rice boxes for travelers on trains called ekeben, sold at train stations, containing cold rice and local specialties. All these types of bento share one thing in common: the rice is cold, yet it is eaten with pleasure and seen as a symbol of care and thoughtfulness. Over the centuries, bento became a part of the Japanese memory. Every child growing up carried the lunchbox their mother prepared for school, opening it at noon. The rice had long been cold, but inside the box was all the mother's love. Workers taking a lunch break would pull out their rice box and feel as if they carried the taste of home with them. Such rice boxes not only fill the stomach, but also nurture the spirit, creating a bond between people. Even during wartime, bento was linked to survival. During World War II, when Japan suffered from food shortages, the rice box often contained only rice mixed with sweet potato. But even when poor, it was still a way for each person to carry a little sustenance for the long day, and of course it was all cold rice. This fact further imprinted on the minds of many generations of Japanese that cold rice is connected to survival and the resilience to overcome hardship. Today, step into any supermarket or convenience store in Japan, and you will see hundreds of types of bento neatly lined up, from inexpensive boxes for students and workers to elaborate boxes arranged like works of art for office workers or more affluent people. All are served with cold rice. Oh. The secret ingredient: Japanese rice grain. Crucially, thanks to bento, the Japanese have never seen cold rice as leftover or trash. On the contrary, cold rice has become the foundation for creating countless dishes. Without bento, would we have onigiri, the globally convenient rice ball? Would we have sushi, the world-famous dish? And would we have the artistic rice boxes that make the world marvel at the Japanese's meticulousness, sophistication, and dedication? But what is the cold rice the Japanese eat like? A key factor that makes cold rice acceptable in Japan is the rice grain itself. Unlike the long-grain rice in Vietnam or Thailand, which quickly dries out and hardens when cooled, Japanese rice is a short, sticky grain. Because of this, the rice holds together and has a slight sweet flavor even when cold. The Japanese can eat cold rice without feeling uncomfortable. In fact, they may find it easier to eat when combined with savory side dishes. This rice grain is the foundation for the creation of today's famous dishes. Take sushi. Few realize that this iconic Japanese dish originated from cold rice. Initially, sushi was just a method of preserving fish. The Japanese would put fish and rice together, which would ferment and become sour. This kept the fish edible for a long time. Gradually, this method evolved into mixing cold rice with vinegar and eating it with fresh fish. From that, modern sushi was born. Notably, sushi is only delicious when eaten with cold rice, because hot rice would spoil the flavor of the fish and ruin the dish. In other words, if it weren't for the habit of eating cold rice, Japan might never have created the sushi that the whole world knows. Also from cold rice, the Japanese created onigiri, seaweed-wrapped rice balls. This was a form of Japanese fast food hundreds of years ago, long before the West invented the hamburger or sandwich. A ball of cold rice filled with pickled plum or salmon and wrapped in seaweed. That's all it takes for a convenient and easy-to-carry lunch. Today, these types of rice balls are found in Japanese convenience stores. And, of course, they are made with cold rice. For students, workers, and office staff, it's a quick, cheap, yet filling meal that encapsulates the Japanese spirit of practicality and simplicity. Frugality and the spirit of the Japanese. The habit of eating cold rice also reflects the spirit of frugality and non-waste in Japanese culture. The Japanese have a famous saying that a grain of rice contains 7 gods, meaning every grain is sacred and deserves respect. In Shinto, rice is also considered an offering to the gods, so wasting rice, especially cold rice, is considered disrespectful. Instead, the Japanese always find ways to utilize cold rice. And throughout centuries, this spirit of frugality helped the Japanese not waste food, gradually turning cold rice into a familiar part of their daily meals. Today, in modern life, cold rice still holds an important place. Even though offices have microwaves, many Japanese still bring their cold bento to eat right at their workplace. This habit saves time and fits the busy pace of an industrial society. The Japanese are generally not complainers. They see eating cold rice as normal. Many famous dishes are even designed to be eaten cold, as mentioned. Comparing this with Vietnam shows a fascinating difference. Vietnamese people consider cold rice the last resort if they cannot eat hot rice. Meanwhile, the Japanese turn cold rice into the starting point for innovation. If cold rice is secondary in Vietnam, in Japan it is elevated into iconic dishes. This shows a difference in both culinary culture and life perspective. In summary, the Japanese eat cold rice not because they enjoy hardship, but because cold rice is tied to the long history of the bento box. The unique characteristic of Japanese rice grains, which are very sticky, the Japanese's famous spirit of frugality, culinary creativity, and stories of family bonding. From cold rice, they created globally renowned sushi, colorful bento boxes, neat onigiri, and a philosophy of life that respects every single grain of rice. Without cold rice, Japanese culinary culture might not have been so special. Thank you for your interest in this story. How long has it been since you last ate cold rice? Please leave your thoughts in the comments section below. If you found this interesting, feel free to hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and share. And now I bid you farewell. Would you like me to summarize the main reasons the Japanese embrace cold rice in a bulleted list?